Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi Theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've got a great little effect for you today. We've got these three call to action modules here, and they've all got these infinitely changing color backgrounds, and they're changing colors at different rate. And we've given them a little glowing border which will change color as well, and also a border that kind of looks like little LED lights there. We've got to do a little bit of coding for this today, but don't let that put you off. Any code that I write I'll put down below the video as usual, and you're welcome to use it. Okay, well, let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Okay, once loaded, let's go down to where we want to work. I'm going to create a new section. We'll start from scratch. So I'm going to click the button, hit the little blue button that appears there. I'm going to use a regular section. Inside, I'm going to put a row with 3 columns. But that's entirely up to you. And before I put anything in there, let's just delete this top row. Okay. Well, firstly, let's style that background a bit, because I'm going to make these glow. I want a kind of a dark background. So I'm going to go into the section itself. Simply going to go down to background. I'm going to use a gradient for this today. You've got color, gradient, image, video, background pattern or background mask up there. Like I say, I'm going to use a gradient. I'm going to make those two both black. Just double click on it. I'll make that one black. Double click on this one. I'll make this one black. And I'm going to add a light one somewhere in the middle here. Right there will do. I want to make this one white. Great, that should work for us. Okay, save that. I'm now going to add a module. Divi comes as standard with all these light grey modules here, plenty enough to build just about any site. If you've got WooCommerce installed, it'll give you an extra dozen to display your products also. I'm going to use the call to action. You can use any module you like. We're going to have to make it square and then into a circle, so just bear that in mind. So I'm going to hit the call to action purely because it's got a button. Say whatever it is you want your call to action to say. And button, say buy now. Take them to the sale page or whatever it is. I don't really want that much content in there. If you want, you could just have a button with this. Just if you want just a button, delete the title and the text, and you can put your button in the middle. I'll have a little bit of content in there, perhaps a line, because I've got no real content. Okay, what we need to do now is I'm going to take that background away, down to background below. And just above it, you may have seen link just now. Now, I know you can't see one, but we want a button. And before the button will show up, we need to put the actual link in here. I'm just going to put a hashtag in place of the link. There's the button right there. Now, I'd also like the whole module to link to somewhere. So if they click on the button, it's going to take them to a specific page, perhaps the sales page. But let's put a second link in as well, so that if they link anywhere on the module, we can take them to another place or the same place if you want to make sure that they get there. And always best practice, if you're linking to your own site, leave it in the same window. If you're linking off site to somebody else's, open it in a new tab so yours stays open. Great. Well, let's get this a little bit closer over here. Now what I want to do is actually make this module square. So I'm going to actually put a background color in there so you can see it a little bit easier. We'll take this background color away again in a minute. Let's just put a blue on there so you can see it. So I'm going to go over to my design tab. I'm going to go down to sizing. Width wise, I want it to stay maybe about 300 pixels wide. So in the width, I'm going to type 300 because I want to make these into circles. Just type in the pix. It puts percent at the end there. I'm going to grab the percent sign and turn that into pixels. There we go. I want to make sure it's the same height as well, because to make a perfect circle we need a perfect square. So if it's 300 wide and 300 tall, we've got a perfect square. Fantastic. Great. So how do we make it into a circle? What if we roll down a bit we've got border just below here. And right when you go in there, you'll see rounded corners right here. If you've got this chain linked, it'll do all the corners at one time for you, all 4 corners. I'm going to change this to 50%, which should make that into a circle. So it's 50 and the percent sign. There we go. We've got a perfect circle there. Okay, well, I'm just going to push this down slightly. Like I say, if you had a button, it would be up here somewhere. You could push it down to the middle. But I'm just going to push this down slightly so everything's a little more central. So I'm going to close up the border, go back into spacing above. Let's try giving it, say, 60 pixels padding on top. It's okay, maybe a bit more. I think 60 is probably about right. Yeah, I'll leave it like that, slightly more central. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to go back into border right here, and I'm going to give it a little dashed border all around with the border styles just under our rounded corners here. You can do all 4 at once. I know we haven't got corners anymore, but you can do all 4 at once, top, right, bottom, or left individually. So I'm going to do all 4. I'm going to give it, say, 1 pixel wide. I want to make it white in color. But instead of having a line like that, if you want that line, that's fine. I'm going to have mine is dashed, I think. And it gives it, when we put a glow on the back, it's going to give it almost a sort of little LED type effect, which is pretty cool. Great. So we've got it the shape and size that we want it now. Now to create the effect, I want this to constantly change colors, and I want to have a little glowing border around the back as well. So this is where the coding comes in. I'm going to go over to the advanced. I'm going to give this a custom CSS class. Put color glow. Call it what you want. It wants to be a little bit descriptive. It wants to be unique, and it really wants to make some sense to you when you see it in your CSS. So great, we've saved that. I'm going to save the page changes here. We'll make sure it's published, and we'll exit the Visual Builder. Now the reason I'm publishing this page is because I'm going to go to Theme Customizer and I want to be able to see it. So I'm going to temporarily set this as the home page so we can do our coding and see it at the same time. So to do that, we need to go to our dashboard. We'll go down to Appearance and then Customize. That's going to take us to this page. Like I said, I'm going to temporarily put our new page as the home page so I can see it in this right panel here. There's our little Ken Burns type effect there. So I'm going to go to the home page. Remember, we published this, and this will only show published pages here. And it was GL CTA, a glowing call to actions. There we go. Now we've got that page so we can see it. So I need to go back now with a little arrow here, back to our Customizer page and down to Additional CSS. This is where we'll write our code. Now I gave it a class name of colglow or colglow. All class names have to have a dot or a period in front of them. But when you're writing a lot of CSS, it's always a good idea to put a title in there so you can find it easier. So let's say / */ Anything that you write in between those 2 stars will not be read as code, so it's a great place for titles and notes and things like that. So let's say glowing CTAs or whatever it is you want. Now we can drop down. We gave it that class. All classes have to have a dot or a period in front. There's the dot. And it was called colorglow or colglow. Okay, what we need to do is open and close some curly brackets now and tell it what we want it to do. Well, I want to animate the background. So I've got to create an animation. So I'm going to say animation, colon, and then the name that we want to give our animations. So I'm just going to call it cglow, similar to our class name, but I'm going to call it cglow, and then we'll create animations in a little bit. Now I want it to last a long time, so I'm going to say 30 seconds, 30s. I want it to be linear so it looks like it's just doing it smoothly rather than graduating with the keyframes that we're going to create in a minute. So I'm going to say linear. And I want it to keep doing it and doing it, so I want it to be infinite. Great. I'll put a semicolon on there. Now we've actually got to create that. Now I may have to go in and refresh this page and take that background color away. We'll see. Let's drop down a few more and actually create the cglow animation. And we're going to be using keyframes for that. So I'm going to say at keyframes. And we'll give it that name, cglow. Now we can open and close some curly brackets and choose what we want it to do. Okay, inside we got to start building some keyframes. So at 0%, 0%. Now I'm going to open and close some more curly brackets. What do we want it to do? Well, I want to change the background color. You won't see it now because I'll make it blue. Well, let's start with red. So I'll say background. Say red, or you could put any hex color or anything like you want in there. And as you can see, that's actually changed that background color to red now. But I want to give it a sort of glow over the back. So let's put a semicolon in there. I'm going to give it a box shadow. I'm going to say box dash shadow colon. And I want it 0 pixels up and down, 0 pixels left and right. I'm going to give it a spread of a large spread, so let's say 25 pixels, and a color, so it'll have a bit of a glow. As you can see, it's got that white glow on the back of it right now, and it's cycling between the blue and the red color there because we've got a red background on there. So I'm going to make the glow on this particular one, well, we've got red there, so let's say pink. Why not? And obviously you put in whatever you want there. We've got a bit of a pinky glow there to the outside. That's fine. Now I'm going to copy this from the 0% to the first lot of curly brackets, not the second one, because the second one is what we're encapsulating our keyframes in. I'm going to drop down. I'm going to place it in there, and let's say 25% perhaps. 25%. I'm going to change this to blue. Now I'm going to have perhaps a white glow effect on that, or box shadow. I'm going to copy it one more time. Now let's say 50%. At 50%, just make it green. Let's maybe have a blue border on that one. Then we're going to do 75%. Say violet. And let's have a red border on that perhaps. Got two E's on blue there. Let's take that E away from there. Great. And finally, I'm going to go back to blue again, or red with the one we started with. So I'm going to start on red and end on red. Now if we publish this, this should take 30 seconds to go red, blue, green, violet, red, and the border should be pink, red, blue, white, and red. As you can see, that's starting to happen now. Fantastic. There's our little pink border. That's great. Well, let's go to back to our page now. We've published this. Just do a few adjustments. I'll take the initial blue background away from there. I think I might darken this down a little bit too. And I've got to make sure at 50% I've got 0% there. I need to make that 100% so it's completing the cycle of 0, 25, 50 and 75%. So we've got 0, 25, 50, 75 and 100% for our keyframes there. Great. Well, let's republish this now. I've made some changes. We'll go back to our page. Let's enable the visual builder. And I'm going to make 2 more of these and I'll show you how to animate them at different speeds. Okay, I'm going to go down. I'm going to go into our section, the little blue tab. We'll make that background a little bit darker so things stand out a little bit better. Remember, we've got a gradient on there. Let's take that white down a little bit in color. Could even make it a blue or something like that. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to leave that like that. Then I want to go into my module itself right here. I'm going to take the initial background color away, which was the blue in the content. We just put that there so you can see the square taking shape. Just hit the little trash can and I'll get rid of that. Great. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone it twice. So click on it again, go up to the two little boxes right there to clone it. 1, 2. Drag one over, doesn't matter which one because they're both identical. If you want to, you can go in, change your title, and obviously change your link if you want to take them to somewhere else. And then drag another one across. Doesn't matter which one of these two because again they're completely identical. And of course you can go into this one again. Change it, change the link. Now they look like they're changing color at different rates here, which they are, but if I was to refresh this page, you'd see they'd all actually change colors at the same rate. So let's just save this. And when I exit the Visual Builder, you'll see they're actually all changing color at the same rate. And they've got that little glowing background there. Now, for me, it's kind of more interesting if they change color at different rates. Just makes it a little bit more interesting. So to do that, let's go back to our code here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select the whole thing from the dot before our class name up there to the closing curly bracket, Control C to copy. I'm going to go down, I'm going to paste it once. I'm going to call this colglow 2, and I'm going to call the animation cglow 2 and cglow 2 here. Then I'm going to paste it again, still in my clipboard. I'm going to call this one 3, cglow 3 and cglow 3. So you've actually got 3 different animations, and we can go in, we can start changing the colors of some of these things. So let's start off with blue. I'm not going to change the actual box shadows, obviously you can if you want to. So let's go blue, purple, red, green, and end up with blue again. And let's perhaps start this one off with a green, blue. Well, I'll change that green, let's say orange, red, blue, and then back to green. And back to green again. Okay, we'll publish this. Okay, now if I go back to the page itself, I've got to change the class names for these two here to make them change colors differently. So let's go down, go into this one, advanced CSS class. We'll make this one 2, which was the name we gave it, and we've got one with 3 as well, so we go next door. Give this one 3. Save this now. I'll just save the changes and refresh the page. Exit the Visual Builder, which will refresh the page. So we now got these with totally different colors, and they'll be revolving different colors at different times, which is pretty random there. But that's a real eye catcher. That's going to get people's attention pretty quickly. And it's fully responsive. If I hit F12 here, I've got Google Chrome with the great inspector tools. I can bring up my responsive tab here. There it is on a tablet, iPad Air. Now some devices, mobile devices, will block animations, but that's not a big problem. Most of them should be alright there. And let's have a look on an iPhone. There it is on an iPhone. And as you can see, people can scroll down, they can click on the Buy Now buttons. And that's a great feature to have on your site. You can also change the time these things take, but be a little bit careful, because if you do it too quickly, it can sort of make people dizzy. So perhaps if I go back to our customizer here, if I leave that one on 30, we'll drop this one down to 20. And we'll make the third one real quick. I'll drop this down to 10. And you might, little warning right here, don't want to make you dizzy when you look at this, but it is a little too much if you speed them up. But if that's the effect you're going for, fair enough. Okay, so I'm going to refresh now. Let's get rid of our inspector down here. And we'll have 3 different timings as well as different colors on these. So let's refresh. And there we go. As you can see, that one on the right is going pretty quickly. The middle one's going a little less quickly. And the one on the left is our original speed. But like I say, that's quite a lot to look at. So for me personally, I'd probably have them going at the same rate. But it's entirely up to you. So let's go back, customizer, and simply take them all back to 30, which works for me. But if you want to get dramatic, you can speed them up. Refresh the page. There we go, back to the regular slow speed, which is, I feel, is a little easier on the eyes. And like I say, that's a real attention grabber there. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget, with this effect, you can assign any one of these classes to any of your modules, and it'll have that color changing background and the glowing little border there for you. So once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.